champions. Celtic way, wait for the ball from side to side, and until they try to hide, the wait for the ball from front to back, attack, 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 attack. Good evening everybody and welcome to Celtic Rumours TV episode number 204, the Bawz and Bovril podcast, with myself, which is Mark here tonight. We've got the Bishop ways as well. John's there, so it's just us two tonight. Get cracked on with it. This is I've been that long since I've done this. I need to try and get it back into my head. This is a podcast for our forum, www.celticrumours.co.uk. You can, the link to everything like that's down in the description box below, the forum, the Discord group, everything. Everybody's more than welcome in there. A few shout outs to some of the lads for there. Paul, Terence, Jerry McGinn, old Tim Alloy, Mikey, B John United Ireland, Big Jabber, Welshie, Kev as well, and Malika. And Malik, a bit of bad news for Malika. His daughter was in a bad car crash here in Australia. To go to Australia to obviously be close in that, but and it was touch and go for a while. So if you do pray, can you keep Malik and his daughter? It's Ashlyn her name is. If you can keep her in your prayers, because it was really touch and go for a couple of days with the lassie. Malik is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Who have we got? Bobby was in first evening. Bobby, Patrick McLaughlin, nice to see you. Patrick, Liam, Grotbags, Greg, if you want to come on, I'll put the link in the chat anyway, mate. Bobby, 1962, nice to see you. That's that. You there, John?
I'm indeed, Mark. Aye. How's things all right?
Aye, I'm good, man. How are you? Just went a wee bit quiet there.
Aye, that was. I got in contact with Malik and myself there. He's obviously things are not great there.
Aye, it's a shame. It really is.
Just your worst nightmare as a father, that,
And especially on the other side of the world, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Evening, Cameron, nice to see you. Flip-flop into it, nice to see you, mate. It's scary thing, that. Even as I said for that, when you're sitting, well, I take it was in Spain at the time, but you're sitting there, it's still the other side of the world, Australia, isn't it?
Aye, her name is, it's Ashlyn, so if anybody prays, as you said there, if they could keep Malika's daughter in your prayers, she's got a long road ahead there.
Well, we'll get on to the football now. Obviously, we'll go on to the fallout for the Derby game later on. Maybe we'll stick to the actual football side of things for a wee while now. John, what did you think of the game the other day?
Aye, it's a kind of strange one. I think you get sidetracked with all the guff that gets talked about, all the stuff around about it that's not that particularly important. It's banners and all the other stuff, you know. It's tifos and breaking news. The Huns don't like you. It's not exactly breaking news. In terms of football, that's disappointing. I think. I don't know how many times I've played that Maida one back at the end. I thought if ever a goal would have lived in your memory, that one, I thought he's got to cut that back, It's dearie me, because he's got, is it Yang and Johnny Kenny?
Aye.
Jeez, what a memory that'd have been for young Kenny, you know what I mean?
I mean, Big Ida, I mean, his one in the first half was bad, but for me personally, I know I say I don't fancy my Ida as a striker. I prefer him out in the wing, but that was a worse miss because he'd have had to try and do it himself, whereas Maeda had options. Do you know what I mean?
See if you look at it, I've watched it back a couple of times. I'm betwixt and between whether Ida's was a bad miss or a good save, or a bit of both there. But it's I mean, I don't know. Maeda, he top hook it between Kelly's legs. He can cut out two Celtic players beside. He's got to see the two players beside him.
Aye.
I mean, he's ran with the ball for he's in halfway line. So it's hard to see how he doesn't see them. Although I've watched it, it's not obvious that that he actually does look up, but he's got to be aware they're there. And surely it's a better option. Two players.
T62's talking about that's. But see if you notice it, that's what happens in these games. See when Rangers are kind of. I mean, let's face it, any game, even the shitest team can come to Celtic Park. Every team gets their own wee kind of spell of being in charge of the game. But see in these games, you notice it more when you actually listen to it and think about it. See when Rangers are dominating the game flows, it's let to go and all that. See when Celtic's doing well, every wee niggly fouls gave, every stupid wee daft stoppage that they can make. And it breaks up the flow of the game. It just breaks up the full rhythm of the game. And lets them regroup in that. For me, that's one of the dodgiest things going on in the game that a lot of people don't actually talk about, I think.
You've got to see, I don't know if he clocked the wee stand sidelines, man. There's also a few close offside shouts, but man, he couldn't get his flag up quick enough. When it was a Celtic player, it was offside. Yet you were getting nothing the other way around a bit. But you know, it's
I mean, a lot of people say we've heard it out in the Discord and that we were talking about it. It was like, it's a deed rubber and that. And see, to be honest, any other time I would have maybe looked at that kind of attitude going into that game the other day, but. For me, after the last few performances and results against them, I was looking for Celtic for the players to go out there and make a statement. And again, it wasn't much of a game at all, but you see that, especially in the first half, I thought it was, again, I'd say we were probably second best in that first half.
Aye, well I mean, I think when you get a wee bit of time to I'd spoken to a few guys before the game, and they had said, we'll pump that on. I think, what are you basing that on? What are you basing that on? Celtic's played them. Celtic, by my count, has now played them 4 times, and Roger, including twice against the tactical genius that is Barry Ferguson, and hasn't beat them in over 90 minutes. And that's a manager that's Rangers have lost. I went the first time for ever gone 7 games at Ibrox with a victory. So,
but I mean, I'll be back to that old cliche, John, that form goes out the window in these derby games, because that's what I mean. See the first game when they beat us, right? I couldn't get my head round. I still, to this day, John, for every time we've played them this season, apart from the early ones, early on in the season, every game we've played them, I can't get my head round why. But you're talking about Rodgers doesn't get is he that stubborn or what is it that we're in games we're getting outplayed with teams that can't beat Queen's Park in the cup? Do you know what I mean? Whoever it was Clement at the time, wasn't it? If you can't get a Rangers team together to beat Queen's Park, your team's in a right bad way. And then as you say, they go in this run, but then again, on Sunday, it was one of the games, they could have won it, we could have won it.
I mean, I think when you watch it back again, there's loads of things to be concerning about. To say the records are nuts. It's Rodgers, apparently that's him, the most successful living Celtic manager. But the bottom line is he's played them 4 times. I watched the first game in Derry when we won it in penalties. So he's played them 4 times, including twice against Barry Ferguson. Albeit apparently it's the Albanian boy that's set him up. He's played them 4 times, hasn't he? Beat them in 90 minutes and lost twice. Whatever way you dress that up, that's no good.
But Really, all Ferguson must have done was just looked at what Clement done and used the exact same tactics. Because we struggled even against them the last couple of games under Clement as well.
I think it would have been harder to say in that game, but the last game at Celtic Park, definitely the blame lies at a lot of the blame lay at the buck stopped with Rodgers. And again, the same again yesterday. My lad had said to me, we can expect to play 45 minutes of football in one game. You know, and that's what you've done again. See the game at Celtic Park, we didn't need to win that game, but we shouldn't have lost it. You know, you'd watched them in Europe. They've done well. They've done well against a team that has a go at them, and yet they can't play a team that plays a low block. So I don't know why Rodgers did. I'd said in the forum before, but why does Rodgers not go and treat this like a European game? Just sit and invite them on us and let's see if they can play football. But their tactics at Celtic Park were absolutely spawn chaos football. Just came there to stop you playing football. But I don't know, the 4 games Rodgers doesn't seem to. I mean, Brendan Rodgers has forgotten more about football than I know. But I don't. I think the other thing, there's loads of things like lost in the pad, missing digging in the middle of the park. No doubt about it. You've never replaced Scott Brown. That's
Aye.
You've got Raskin, the biggest guy in the park, winning headers every time in the box. We get set pieces. We're absolutely dire, man.
Aye.
You've got the wee Amish prof winning absolutely everything. Scoring a header that's offside as well. You know, I thought they were cutting us open when they did hit you in the break. Obviously, we have the ride miss. Then you hit. They're cutting you open. They cut you. When they hit you in the break, they're cutting through you like a knife through bar. I thought Scales was weak for the goal. Dessers took it very, very well. But I mean, injuries, you've got Jota out, Kuhn out, Schmeichel out, Johnson out. That's four big players. I thought Salah did well.
I've been quite impressed with him. I mean, he's not really been tested that much, but he's showed well. He's no causing any panic when he's got the ball and stuff like that. And I've been quite impressed with him for like a young lad. I mean, we're treating him as if he's never been a player, but I mean, he played a full season. I know fair dues, it was at Exeter or something like that he played, but you get their player of the year and stuff like that. So I'm quite confident that we've got a decent keeper in our hands here to take care of Schmeichel when he does want to move on.
Absolutely, he's only 20. How many people you've seen? A lot of players with them site more experienced than that. Their arses collapsing that I brought.
Aye.
I didn't think McGregor was at his best. I thought it was one of the best games I'd seen. I thought Hatate had a good game. I actually thought Engels did all right. Rodgers apparently didn't he? Didn't think Maida was at his best. Ida could have been yanked at half time, but I thought, I mean, he gets his that pass he plays in James Forrest. I don't know. It's a bad pass. Does Forrest no go wide enough? Unsure when you watch it back again. But I think in line with the injuries you had, Maida's one at the end is just a killer. But the you see the wee guy in the park winning headers all over the place. And the bottom line's the bottom line for me. The bottom line, played them 4 times, no beating them over 90 minutes, including 2 defeats and twice against Barry Ferguson as well. That to me, if I'm Rodgers and I'm picking up $3 million a year, that doesn't reflect well on him. I don't care what anybody says.
It's pride, John. That's what I'm. You know what I mean? It should be like professional pride. Even to Rodgers, think he's right. I mean, obviously Rodgers. He knows he's one of the best managers kicking about. Well, at least in the UK, the new. Do you know what I mean? Just even though he's at Celtic, he would get a job done in the pub league if he wanted one again. But as you said, just to be held with a wee guy that was writing for the Daily Record, get brought in here as a stopgap, and he's held him twice.
Yep.
And then even down to that, like the players in the park, they should have been out there to put the last couple of games behind them, right? That's us, we went out and we'll beat them, put them back in their place, and B, that gives them a kind of, no matter who's in charge next season, it gives the players that psychological boost of, do you know what I mean, for the start of next season facing it. It's just, I mean, I think a lot of players kind of even turn up and just think that every game's like a cruise, as if they're just playing against a Motherwell or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Just, we'll get there. We're Celtic, we always get there, and we'll get there. And it's not like that. You still need to go out there and fight, and just that actual pride. Go out there and try and put, as I said, get them to shut up, ram it back down their throats, down the press's throat, and that. Because it's just all bluster and noise. I mean, because they're looking at that as a kind of a success. We didn't get beat. That should a derby game shouldn't be like that. A derby game, you're getting into that, and you want to win it. You need to win it for yourself and for the fans and for the. Do you get what I mean? The full feeling about the club. You need to go out there and. I tend to, even although I can't go on, but I tend to agree with a bit with McCoy saying that it's surprising. You know what I mean? A derby game between us and them, and it's like you get 2 yellow cards and it's late on and stuff like that. But it was maybe the two teams were just that happy. The game was kind of meaningless in the league. It was only pride in the one each draw kind of suited both sides. I don't know. Evening, G-Doc. Nice to see you again, mate. Thanks for coming in. But the set pieces stuff, that's something. I mean, we laughed at teams. Who was it? Arsenal or Liverpool that brought in a set piece, so-called expert or whatever, a couple of seasons back, and we kind of laughed at them on here. But even early doors, I don't know who it wasn't. Asking who was it? He hit the ball for. Was that a corner or a free kick? The Rangers player went up and how many times? That's what they've seemed to be in these games, John. They're playing. They play like what a lower league team will play against us, and which is like trying to capitalise on set pieces and big balls into the box, corners, free kicks, and stuff like that. But time and time again, Celtic get caught out with these free kicks and corner pieces, corner takes, and that. And that for me,
they were cutting you open like a knife from the bar. You know, that's the truth of the matter. And they said you've got the wee guy. You've got Terence's twin winning every header and you know, he's got the offside goal today. He's I don't know. I think the big thing, it was lacking that wee bit of quality up tops. It's that. I don't want to be overly critical. At the end of the day, he's looking to see the season out with 20 goals. I think you need to cut Maid a bit of slack. He's also got a lot going on with his good lady being pregnant, and he was in Japan during the week. And the season, he said you'd be a hard man
I think
to criticise a guy like
if we didn't have the cup final, my Yuda would have just went back to Japan the other day, and wouldn't have probably seen him the next season. Do you know what I mean? Just with his wife having the kid and that, because I mean that's like a long haul flight into it. We've spoken about that before.
Absolutely.
The trek it is.
I think the biggest takeaway is it leaves you thinking. You know, obviously, what having looked at that. Is there what needs to happen in the close season? What needs to happen in I thought Johnny Kenny did. I thought Johnny Kenny did all right in his brief quarter an hour between the 7 minutes he came on and the 7 minutes extra time. Thought he did all right. At least they get a yellow card. Said to him many a time, you come back there, you don't win or you lose. You come back with 5 yellow cards and 2 reds. So at least he gets a yellow card. So you looked alert, might have cuts that back. There's a chance either him or Yang's burying that.
There was the one I know, he got a free kick against him, and it should never have been a free kick. He was getting away with that, away with it as well there.
So I think the biggest thing.
It's like, What's your take on Engels, John? Not just the other day, just in general, because people on the forum and that are talking about, what about the guys on the live chat? Guy, I mean, there's one guy and he's constantly on the forum just like, oh, Engels, waste their money. That just...
I heard somebody else saying this, and I'm probably in the same camp as this. I think Engels have come good. I think he did okay. Rodgers didn't apparently think it. I didn't apparently think so. But for me, I don't really understand. As I said, I thought he had a fantastic game. McGregor was anonymous. I don't really understand. For all the times I watch Engels, I'm not really sure what he's meant to be doing. I think big time we miss a ball one in the middle of the park. Angie didn't seem to think we needed one. Rodgers doesn't seem to think we needed one. Maybe I'm in a minority of one here, but you've just never replaced Scott. Engels, he's not a 6, he's not an 8, he's no box to box, he's not a ball. I don't really know what. I'm not really sure what
his actual position is, but
absolutely.
I mean, although I've seen there was talk about how even Rodgers was Gino Pelters the other day and that as well, but plus, I mean, he's picked him practically nearly every game he's been fit for this season, really.
Well, I think he's.
And when you break it down, like his stats and all that, and I've said it on the forum, I'll say it on here. See, when Engels leaves Celtic, it'll be for a Scottish record fee.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
I just think there's I mean, somebody's mentioning Petrov and that. Petrov, I can remember Petrov coming on to make his debut in the full stadium, groaned and they were shouting, look at it. It was a wee fat, it was the size of his backside and everything. He was just a wee fat boy at the time. And look at the player Petrov came into. Engels is a better player than Petrov is at that kind of age. Do you know what I mean? I mean, that guy's breaking into the Belgian national team and everything. He's going to be see next year. You'll see him. He'll really. And I think he's kind of maybe he doesn't look the confidence guy, didn't he? No, he looks a bit. I don't know whether it's just his demeanour, or is he just like maybe a wee bit quiet and shy at times, or maybe know that fall.
No, I don't think he comes. I don't know. I'm not sure. But some days, if I think, and I'm not the only one that doesn't quite understand the role that Rodgers is giving him, but sometimes I'm not sure if maybe he doesn't understand the role it's been given him. But anyway, the thing is that the takeaway is going to be is particularly with Jota's injury as well. Kuhn's due back. What do you need? I think you'll see big changes for the rest of the season. We talk about that after. The main takeaway for that game for me was, what do we need to be comfortable that we stay ahead of them next season. Again, you know, if Taylor leaves, which looks increasingly likely, apparently he was getting watched at Ibrox. Do you need a left back? Do we? And I'm just throwing, do we need a centre half?
I definitely think we need a centre half, and I've heard. I would be surprised. I know this could come back and bite me in the bum, but I'd be surprised if Carter Vickers is here next season.
I said, if Taylor's leaving, you need a left back. Do we need a centre half? Because Narovsky, question marks on Narovsky, Trusty, all of the above. Do we need Dig in the middle of the park? I think so. Do we need a winger given the Jota injury? And I'm not one to be hard on either. But you're playing. Maida's playing two positions here, so do you need a striker? You've not replaced Kyogo, but I don't think you'll get a striker. Maybe I'm wrong. It's so there you look at a left back, a centre half, a central defensive midfielder, a winger because Jota's out for 9 months, and a striker. That's 5 players. That's 5. Realistically, that's 5 players. It's a big window for me. And what makes me nervous is the recruitment hasn't set the heather on fire today, including the wee good doctor with the feather in the hat. I'm not quite sure what he's brought to the party yet. All the signs that's been successful seem to have been out of the wee black book in Rodgers' back pocket. Whether that's been Kuhn, whether it's been Ida, whether it's been Schmeichel, whether he's been slipdog, whatever it's. I don't think he's done enough to earn the left back to keep the left. If Taylor does go, I don't think slipdog's done enough as be your left back. So realistically, for me, just sit and think about it over the last couple of days, you could be needing a left back. Taylor leads a centre half because we've still got question marks over everybody, even over and above CCV. But a dig in the middle of the park, central defensive midfielder. Jota's out for 9 months. You forget him for next season, so you're a winger down, and you've not replaced Kyogo. And you're asking me that he played two positions. So I'm just putting that's just my thoughts.
No, I agree with you. I think it's going to. I think it's a kind of a rebuild, reset. I think that's what we'll see this summer in the team. Because I mean, we're talking about it. Even not even taking away the derby games, the team a lot of the times this season it's looked stale. Even at Dr. Strangelove, did I give you a shout out there, mate? I don't know if I did, but nice to see you again, Strangelove, and you, G Doc. Is it time for Rodgers to rip up is he going to rip it up? But it's time. Is it just the team has been together that long? The tactics have been getting worked on that long. Is it just that it became that stale? That something needs to happen in the summer? Do you know what I mean? Whether it's, as we say, switching. I mean, I don't know why you just doesn't switch back to 4-2-3-1. Like with Cal McGregor and Bruni there. Do you know what I mean? And because for me, that was when Cal McGregor and Scott Brown played their best games for Celtic. They two together. It was a cracking partnership. Just the two of them sitting in that pivotal role.
He made the comment. He said, "You either need a change of voice in the dugout, or you need a change of players on the park after a period of time." For me, you're just lacking quality. You're just lacking that bit of quality, and particularly I thought up front on Sunday. Bobby's saying there about. I think you will see Bernardo getting more time, and I think apparently CCV's to get injections for a hamstring, but you would think he'd be back for the cup final. But I don't think Johnson's getting injections for a hip problem. So the thinking is he's not going to be back. I think you'll maybe see Johnny Kenny getting. I would rest Maeda. After the game this week, if he was back for this weekend, I don't know, but certainly for the game. The trip to Aberdeen, I'd like to see anything we've got in the way of laddies getting around it.
The centre, who's the young centre back? Dane Murray.
He's out. He's got a knee injury.
Oh, is he injured?
You'll not see him.
I didn't know
There's a boy in the B team's name's getting. I don't remember him sticking it to me much. There's a boy, Jude Bonner.
Aye.
A midfielder in the B team is
he's out for this neck of the woods.
Is that right? Getting bandied about. So I think you'll see changes. I think you need to rotate players, rest them for bottom line. League's one doesn't matter. The big game now is a cup final, and I don't think you want to show your hand to Aberdeen at Pittodrie. You know. Potentially the team I would take to Pittodrie would bear no resemblance to the team that would take to Hampden, and if I could I would rest Maeda. But there you go. There's 5 players realistically that you would like that you're needing based on what we've said.
But then again, it comes down to as well, but John, who's going to be leaving?
Well, Taylor looks.
You know what I mean? If it's like, I mean, for
I hope Greg. I mean, he was poor. He was Taylor. There's a few of them poor. He did better. He did better when he inverted on Sunday, but he was poor. But he was getting watched. There were a lot of factors in there at left back, but it's increasingly looking at Taylor's away, which is disappointing for me. Centre half. Said before, you've spent 15 million, north of 15 million in centre halves, and we're all sitting here.
For me, Skills is better than any of them.
I would say so, aye. And he was poor on Sunday, but he still, in terms of carrying the ball, passing through the lines, all the above. And I don't see Trusty, Narovsky, Lagerbielke, I don't see that any of them any better than Scales. Welsh. I don't see any of them any better than Scales.
No. As you say, they've spent north of £15 million on them, and for a wee ginger guy for Ireland. I mean, you keep saying it, if you're playing well and impress the manager, he's going to pick you, John. That's the way it should be.
But
and Scales obviously does in training and even during games. He's got a mistake in him. If we can see that, Brendan Rodgers can see that. But it's still, for me, still the best partner for CCV.
I think that's hard, but that's worrying. The only reason that Scales is still at Celtic is because Aberdeen were £50,000 short, and then go and spend north of 15 million, and we can't buy anything better. That's worrying me. That makes me worried. If I've given you 5 million 3 times to go and get me a centre half, and you brought back Trusty, Narovsky, Lagerbielke, I'm in serious thoughts of beginning another 5. Whoever, yeah.
It's definitely a big somebody that can dominate in there, like for these set pieces. That kind of, I mean, it's like when people I've spoke about it a few times on here. People used to go on about that. We were weak at the back post with the crosses, getting a cross, and it was Greg Taylor's fault. And for me, it's no, because we didn't have a centre half coming to try and win that ball with his head. At the time, Joe Hart didn't come off his line, so we didn't have a keeper. We don't lose many games like that now, even with many goals like that now, even when Taylor is playing, because Schmeichel will come out and claim the ball, which it helps cover that Carter Vickers isn't the best in there kind of thing. But for me, that's what I want. I want a big old-fashioned hard-man centre half. I'll clear the lines, do you know what I mean? No messing about with him. If the ball comes into that box, it's his.
I always think that I've said to you before, we've spoken about this many times, the best, big Billy stands alone, but for me, after that, the best I watched was Paul Elliott. But you've had loads of players in that mould.
Big Mick McCarthy was a cracking player, I know, John.
Big Stubbs, Big Mick McCarthy.
Stubbs, I know.
Big Dolph. Bobo guys that just weren't fit with players, but they were no nonsense centre halves.
But that is what we're missing. And that's what it shows. It was shown again in Sundays, like how weak we are. Balls getting crossed into our box. And see, maybe should be glad that, like, when we get into the Champions League, that these teams they're a bit off, and they're all trying to play like a tiki-taka, pet, fancy passing about football. Because see, any team that came up against us in Europe, the sticky point for me would be if we get like one of these, just like a Scandinavian team or something like that, and all these big monster attackers. Do you know what I mean? Because then we'd been right trouble, like even in Europe, John. That constant big high balls into the box and stuff like that.
I think it's a big. I think it's a big window for us. Again, you look at that. You look at that game. It's hard to. It does have the air of a dead rubber round about it to agree, even though we know that if you were playing them at tiddlywinks, you would want to gobble them in.
It's still playing name, John. You still want to win it.
Absolutely. I don't think Celtic were poor, but we weren't great. But it's, as I said, stick with the facts. Played them 4 times. Have they beat them over 90 minutes? And that's including twice with the weasel that was Barry, tactical genius that was Barry Ferguson in charge. So you need to ask yourself, are you confident that you can go another league campaign with the 11 players you've got now, the first 11 players you've got now, with Taylor away, Jota injured, can't not a centre half them out and they dig in the middle of the park. You've got Johnny Kenny coming on. It's we've got Ida, and you're asking Maida. Ida, your only striker. Kyogo no replaced, and you're asking Maida to play in 2 positions. That's just that's how I see it.
I don't think it's fair on Maida to do that with him.
No, it's not fair. I'll be stunned. See if there's one player, if there's somebody I want to keep in this close season, it's Maida. And I actually don't. Maida's stats, see in terms of, yourself, everything, all recruitment now across Europe's data driven, So there's just about no criteria where Maida's stats doesn't isn't he ahead of the game in terms of his, shutting down. He's
but has he got that skill, John, to play like the next step, another level? I mean, look,
he's
sat here,
unique.
John, for months saying about it was as if he was quick and he ran about, but he really didn't do much with the ball. It's really only this season that he just came in, he's kind of in and shone out. It's fair play to the guy, do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, certainly he's come on under Rodgers, absolutely no doubt about that. But I'll tell you, I don't care who you're playing. You saw that with Bayern Munich as well. Don't care who you are. Nobody would enjoy playing against me because he's a fucking pest, and he's more than that, eh? So
especially if you're not the quickest of defenders, isn't it? I mean, it must be a nightmare. Evening, Davy Stalker. Nice to see you again, mate. Don't know if you've been there a while. I've just caught your name there. Thanks for coming in again, bud.
I can't see your stats. Don't bring him to the attention of somebody either down in the pub league or in Europe.
The money that they splash on players, John. I mean, there is talk that maybe would want away in the summer and that. I hope no, and I think a lot of that might depend on what Rodgers' long-term plan is as well.
Have you heard that? I mean, I've not heard that. The guy looks.
But John, they'll be big. They're going to be big offers in for him.
That's what I'm saying. I'd be shocked if there was no big offers in.
Aye, and this might be. I mean, it's a terrible thing to say. Right? What if he goes out in the first game of the season and gets a Jota injury next season?
But you can't.
No,
if you did that, you would.
But he's 28. Is this going to be his last chance to get a move to maybe the pub league and that kind of money and stuff like that? I don't think he's actually like intent. I hope he isn't doing a Kyogo and intentionally working behind the scenes trying to get a shift out. But there'll definitely be heat turning offers in for him.
Make it worth his while to stay then. Make it worth his while to stay, because I tell you all my time watching Celtic, he's unique. He's
is he the best? Is he the best for Kyogo?
He's the best for Kyogo.
The best.
I mean, you know when the guy's work rate when you're playing in Europe, it doesn't matter who you're playing. Nobody's going to enjoy playing against. He's done your time through the middle. He's to me. I would love to see him staying because. The wee boy in front of me again. He says he's what's the term he used to use for the Derry Pele? He's what's the name player? You would say he's
Mercurial.
No. What do you mean? When somebody's what's the term you use? And I say, I just lost it. I says, no, that's unfair, and that means you're shite, but the fans loved you. Maida's better than that. If he stays, he would be a. Paddy McCall. What's the name you would get a player like that? It's away from me now. I'll put it in the banner page if I remember it. But he's if he had it all, he would be
Maverick. Maverick, is that it?
No, Maverick either. No, that's not it.
This is turning into a Greg type of conversation. Right, what about him then?
I hope. Bottom line, I hope he stays.
Definitely.
I would pay him whatever you need to pay him to see his career at Celtic Park.
Aye.
That's my. Where do you get another one? Cult hero. That's the word. There it's there. Strange Love the Doctor said it. Cult hero. Because I said to the wee boy in front of me, no, cult hero means you were shite, but we loved you. And made us more than a cult hero. Made us more than a cult hero. He plays centre forward for his country. He's played in the wing and played through the middle for us. He's you couldn't fault the guy's effort for the day he arrived. He gives you nothing.
He looks so happy now, I know, didn't he?
Absolutely.
I've said that before. I think that Rodgers has said to him, look, get out there, enjoy yourself.
Did you not see him giving it Maida?
Aye.
They were playing his song. Fantastic. I think the very fact you can bring somebody from the other side of the world and get their buy-in like that is just phenomenal, eh? And
I definitely love the wee guy to stay, because I mean, he definitely improved Celtic. I need to doubt about it. That's the kind of players we want.
He's got to be looking at Jota, and he's got to be looking at Kyogo, his fellow countrymen as well, and thinking, the grass is not always greener on the other side.
It's a weird one, that with Kyogo, isn't it? Really weird one.
Bonkers. All the places he wants to go just happens to be wanting to go to the place where Jota was. Aye. I'm not a big believer in coincidences, there's just something didn't ring true about that whole thing.
I mean, really, even when you hear the way Rodgers speaks about it at the time and that, I think Rodgers feels a bit disappointed, and I think with the way that he left. It's obviously he'd been working his ticket for a while.
Aye, it's hard to. Two things I can't get my head around, but it's hard to believe that anybody thought that playing where he's playing, Rennes, is it Rennes? Is it not?
Aye, Rennes, aye.
Gives him a higher profile than playing in the Champions League with Celtic in terms of getting a game for his national team, and it didn't stop. It's not stopped Hatate, and it's not stopped. It's not stopped Maeda getting a game for the national team. So that was hard to buy. Another thing that was hard to buy is the places he wanted to go, it just happened to be the place where Jota was. Something just.
But it's meant to be. If you're not seeing it, Minders on the talk that Jota's coming back to Scotland to transition into a woman. This is the latest. No, this is the latest one. I know. That's how he's only kidding on. He's injured. He's away to get his final, whatever you do and all that. He'll never be seen a Celtic tap again unless it's for the women's team.
No comment on that. I'll treat that the same as I treat the Rangers banner. No comment. I don't care enough.
But the banner, that doesn't bother me that at all. The banner.
Absolutely. Big hullabaloo about nothing. Who cares,
It's a banner. They turn a blind ear and blind eye to the songs that week in, week out. Even the press, the way the press came out, and they're bored of fucking come out against it now. Come out against a songbook. Come out and hammer them for throwing things. How many times they've threw things on the park?
Yeah, they should be netted. The supporters should be netted in. That's aye, they were at it. They were at their. So it's not just their sectarian songs. I know you want to mention it, but some of the other stuff they sing, I just don't understand. I don't understand any human being that would want to score points with anybody about stuff like that. It's just lost on me. It's not even worth discussing. It's they're toxic. And there's no doubt in my mind. No, none of my business. But
I mean, I get messages all the time, even on the forum. Sometimes you get them in a game and there's things hot to news about all that, like the child sex abuse stuff and all that. And I just don't feel comfortable at all. Right? It's rang across the board, no matter where it is, whether it's in the chapel, whether it's at Celtic, wherever it is. It's one of the most fucking horrible things in the world. And how any grown man, how we could sit and have any kind of conversation with other grown men about that is fucking
I don't even like discussing it, Mark.
I am the same, John. It's beyond football for me. It's
absolutely. If that's not beyond the pale, that's it. So the same. The one thing that did strike me was their condemnation of the banner, which I thought was heavy compared to. As I say, I find a songbook a damn sight more offensive than I found their banner. I thought it was kind of piss poor. I didn't think it was particularly clever or funny, but when are the Huns ever going to do it? And
at least they spelt it right this time.
Aye, when are they ever going to do it? It's funny.
But the banner I didn't have any real problem with at all.
Yeah, just
do you know what I mean? Because they're all throwing up. Oh, what about some of the Green Brigade banner? And to be fair, they're quite entitled to probably say that.
Absolutely.
I mean, and all this shit, come on, all this shit, it's no Souness, it's Michael Stone. Fuck, behave yourself on that part. It's obviously Souness is fucking one of most seen kind of photos of Souness for years for the time, John, if you're maybe you might be near our age, but I can mind of that being, do you know what I mean?
You'd be hard not to be thinking about how quick the Rangers board were to come out and condemn the banner that somebody, maybe, I don't know, some potential investor.
That's what this is today, isn't it?
Maybe they should. Maybe they shouldn't.
What they call the sports washing done with the Saudis down in England and that, isn't it? That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to clean up their image a bit for these Americans.
Maybe the Sinn Féin 1690ers were the one that yanked their chain. It certainly seemed a disproportionate condemnation for their board against a banner that I didn't think was clever, funny, or offensive, actually. But anyway, just even that's. But my bigger question is, what does it tell us about what we? What does that game tell us about what we need for next season? Because you're thin on the ground when you see what you're bringing on. You're a young lad on the bench in that day. When you see your bench, albeit you're carrying injuries, you've got a big window ahead of you for me.
Aye, I think this is going to be like Rodgers, like a Rodgers V.1.2 kind of thing. I think he needs to do something for next season and freshen the team up and bring in tweak it a bit the way the style of playing that, because it's just so tedious and boring at times, and it's so predictable. And I know he comes out and says, and right, fair dues, as you say, John, Rodgers has forgot me about football than me and you'll ever know.
Absolutely.
But you can't tell me that this passing the back between the centre backs and Cal McGregor with two fit passes and that, it's to open up channels and all that. It's no, because they just, as soon as the opposition just bank in with their 5-4 or 5-4 nothings or whatever, and that's staying back in position, and the channels don't open up because you're that strict and just sticking to these positions that they're camped in.
I said that the wee boy up the road for us, he rattled the door with an emergency. His fire stick wasn't working Sunday, so I'd say that he came in and watched in here, and I said that to him. I says, Roger was obviously upset at the Celtic support, saying we need to understand the need to recycle the ball. I understand that. But again, on Sunday, you're recycling the ball when you don't even, there's better options in front of you.
Celtic gets their best, John, fleeing up that park at full pelt, getting on the break. Do you know what I mean? We've got the speed. Right, fair dues, Kuhn wasn't on the park, right? But we've got Maeda. Usually we've got Kuhn on the other side of the park, right? And James Forrest, even though he's old, he's still no slouch. Do you know what I mean? He's still got a wee turn of pace.
You could see him more reluctant, Forrest, to going outside this time, right enough, eh? There's a few times you think a younger James Forrest would have went outside where he's more likely to cut in. And see, where's Greg about? Because my Fashman's just about to come. I think I'm hearing a horn in the distance here.
Well, don't be gossip all night.
If I need to shoot, if you hear the code word Fash, I'll be away for 5 minutes, eh?
Right, no bother.
So it's Greg not about there. You'll be running about the wee daft short cycling short things.
Danny's key store videos.
But Terence was there today. Was he not? We've not heard from him.
I think he just popped on to say hello and that. It was his daughter the night. His daughter is somehow on said to take her out, and I think he would have been on.
Right.
I'll dive out to the Fash van. I'll talk shit myself for 5 minutes.
You can blur yourself. I just need to tell him that I can't stand too long tonight.
Here, I noticed I saw a thing on Twitter, and it was, see that Ulster Scots thing? You see that you're talking about Fash? That's Ulster Scots you're talking. That's an Ulster Scots word. Fash, instead of fish.
Aye. Oh, your fish man. So I sat beside a guy for Peterhead at Parkhead. I've sat beside him around for nearly 15 years. Scotty McClure or McClure or something. He used to say it, wasn't it, the Fash fan and that. I've got no idea what the boy at Parkhead's saying. At least I can just about hear a conversation with James when he comes here on a Wednesday night. He said to his one right, I tell you, he said to us that they like their Fash and that Coat Bridge, yeah.
Aye.
He says, aye. He says, they're Catholics. He says to us, and I says to him, we're Catholics. James, he says, you never told me that. I says, James, I must have been half the day. I knew I was meant to confess to my fish man. He's tough magic right enough, but he's got language of his own, like, so if I shout fash, you'll know where I'm away.
Aye. Well, no, what I found here, you know what I found out the other week, right? See, years ago, my mum used to get that smoked haddock, right?
That's what I'm grateful for, right? Pete
Right.
smoked haddock.
But it turned the milk yellow, didn't it, years ago?
But that's when it's got a dye in it. See the stuff you get.
See, this is new. This is which came to light, right? That Jack used to go to the fish shop, and the guy tell her that's just a dye we put in it. It's nothing to do with the taste and that. So she's been putting yellow dye in the milk for years and kids. Do you know what I mean?
The stuff I get off is the stuff I get off is Pete smoked haddock. So it's no yellow. It's slightly off white, but he's got smoked haddock as well, which is yellow beside it. But that's just a dye. The Pete smoked stuff is just.
Look, yeah, she's laughing about it. That's went on for years. My mum and my sister knew about it, John.
Well, James can tell you
20 years.
I get whiting off him as well. James can tell you when to move from whiting to haddock because of what the whiting are eating and when the fish are eating what and where they're catching. It's fascinating. Probably bore the arse off of most people, but he's absolutely what an education has gone to him. He was actually out in the boats and that, like, eh? So he's he says to me last week,
the boy off your fish fan.
Aye, the boy drives it. Aye. He said to me last week, he says, keep eating the whiting now because they're eating sails. I said, sails? What's sails? Sonnials. He says, I said, a sonnial. Sand eels. Well, it's not different, like, so he can tell you when even what they're eating changes the taste of the fish. Absolutely fascinating. His stuff's tremendous, but he's got language of his own, eh? But
did he stay near you?
No, he's
that's a mad conversation, Bobby, isn't it? No, but what does he just fucking fill up a van at Peterhead and drive down to Coke Bridge to sell fish to the Thames?
He's the Pat and Wayne. So he's all over Scotland, he's done Thursday, he's done in Bawz, he's all other places his day for been done in this neck of the woods, like, eh? So 6 days a week he's on his. There's the guy who works, it's phenomenal. He's away from daft o'clock, no back to daft o'clock, like, eh?
That's mental, isn't it?
It's nuts, man. See the money, he's no shorty a bob or two, like, eh?
Will no be.
But the stuff's absolutely top notch. Top notch, so I think I hear a wee horn away up in the scheme up there by this year, so he'll be here shortly. So what about the remainder of the season then? What do you see about rotation?
I'd like to hope so, John.
Yeah.
Get a couple of people are saying in the chat earlier on, maybe try and get a couple of younger players into the team, try and see if, because I mean, we're not going to speak about that B team shite and doing that, because I hear they're even talking about Celtic scrapping that now, I know.
So the only name, Dane Murray's out with an knee injury. The only other boy I've heard mentioned in the midfielder has been remotely anywhere near the first team. Is that Jude Bonner? Eh?
He came on, John, against somebody.
Aye, that's right. He's 20, I think.
There's another one, Turley, into that. Somebody put him in the chat. He gets good write-ups in that as well. But again, then see like that Jude Bonner. See if he's that good and he's 20. Get him out on loan next year.
Yep.
Let him get into a team, learn how it is to be part of a first team squad. It's somebody like, I don't know, Hibs, Ayr United if they come up.
So you've heard Matt, I've given you my thoughts. I think we need a left back if Taylor goes a centre half, a central defensive midfielder, a winger with Jota's injury, and potentially a striker because you've no replaced Kyogo and you're asking Maida to play in two positions. Who do you think we need? That's 5 players. Are we going to get that? I don't think you need to get the goalkeeper position because.
No. Let's be. I see the link with that was Duhan coming back.
But you've got another.
If Bain, I think that's only if Bain leaves, and that just ticks a UEFA box. Really, that's all that is.
You've got another reason out of Schmeichel and Sinsala looks to me as you'd be developing him to play in that to take off there. He certainly looks to me Sinsala as if he's got something. He certainly wasn't overawed. We've seen more experienced older players are collapsing at Ibrox than Sinsala. I thought he'd done very well. Maybe a bit suspect of their offside goal, maybe. But I would agree with you in that. Right. Well, we were talking about Taylor leaving. What we need that would be 5. But even if other players leave, I don't know, man. I agree whether if Taylor's going to stay or whatever's going to happen, right.
but I don't think Sloop's
No,
nah.
I think so either.
I think I would rather we would out and get like a younger player that's want to kind of even learn. Do you know what I mean? Under Rodgers and develop to become like KT's understudy or whatever it's going to be. If CCV leaves, I think we're going to need at least 2 centre backs.
What's the thinking with CCV going? Where's that coming from?
Some murmurings that he'll be looking to move on in the summer. He's meant to have been. There's talk that he was close to leaving last summer, which I'd only get to. I'm not saying that's true, by the way, right? I'm just saying it's talk. I first get told it a few weeks ago, just and I thought, well, how did you not tell me this? How did you not tell me this last summer? Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Right. I'm going to excuse myself. See if you can hold the floor for 5 minutes. Cheers.
Right, no bother. Right, I'll just keep talking about who we need in the summer then, seeing as I'm sitting solo again. What about Sloop? Would you guys take Sloop even in a free transfer? I mean, he's had a couple of decent games, but one of the was it the cup game against him? Well, I can't mean one of the games against him, it was as if his arse had just collapsed. It really did. He just looked totally lost, and I thought, this guy's. Do you know what I mean? I feared there would be a bit of a stopgap, but no, I wouldn't. I mean, they're always a free transfer, and maybe if we could like lower his wages, but I was in 30 odd grand a week down there. There's no way he's going to say Celtic for. I wouldn't even give him 10 grand a week, really, for what I've seen for him. Was it one at Celtic Park, Bobby? Aye. Right, aye. He was like. But again, I mean, Greg Taylor, the first half the other day, Greg Taylor, that was one of the poorest games I've seen for him in a long time as well. So, I don't know if Taylor's going to go away. I mean, there's talk he'd already signed a pre-contract with Dynamo Zagreb, wasn't it? And then nobody mentioned that his wife was pregnant for 9 months to shed the wane, and then all of a sudden, his wife doesn't want to leave Scotland. Because you know, told me that 9 months ago. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know if people have said it's because he wants like wages up to the top level, but other people are saying he wants guarantees of game time and that. And without getting into the whole KT debate, he'll get game time. And if Rodgers can talk him into staying again, for me it's a bit like Maeda. If it depends on maybe what Rodgers' plan is for the next couple of years, whether Taylor's going to stay about. Because there's no point in Rodgers saying to him, no, I'll guarantee you'll get game time, you'll get plenty of game time and that kind of thing under me. And then next summer, Rodgers is going to bolt, and Greg Taylor, the next manager, comes in, he's like, nah, you're done here, son. What else have we talked? What other positions? CDM, said for years. If Scott Brown left, I've said we need a proper CDM in. Cal McGregor just, especially in Europe, he gets away with it in Scotland, but he can even, again in the derby, he very rarely dominates in the games, which is, again, where his class should be shining through. I thought McGregor had a poor game on Sunday too, right enough. Again, it's just, we need muscle. The full team needs muscle. We're awfully lightweight. And Didi, aye, I would take him, but he was available in a free last year, wasn't he? And we were, don't know if there was any truth in it, whether we were linked to him or no, but somebody like that. I mean, the thing is, see, just because they're a bit tough and get a bit of dig about them, and that doesn't mean that's all the day. Do you know what I mean? You can still get a hard man defensive midfielder and still be able to play a bit. We're not just looking for somebody to run about kicking folk.
Right, false alarm for me there. I'm back again. But is there a Lewis Ferguson suit there? Does anybody know? Is there a settled defensive midfielder that's who?
You've muted yourself there, John, again. Lewis Ferguson would have been an ideal signing for us.
A Barry Robson, just something just to gaze at. That just to me was just what was crying out to me on Sunday. It was just that. I mean, you need to be thinking long term. I think Cal McGregor's a fantastic football player and a fantastic captain. But he's 32 as well. There needs to be a thought about who replaces him moving forward as well. You like to think these thoughts were being had just now, eh?
Lennon Miller.
I don't know. The only thing I would say, Mark, is I've said to you before, and I've been on here, is I remember watching John Collins in a poor Hibs team, and he stuck it. I don't. Any times I've watched Motherwell, I don't remember. Lennon, I could be miles away here, but he's never actually stuck it to me and thought, man, who's that boy playing? And do you know what? I'm not saying maybe he'll be fantastic, but
like Scottish Engels then.
Hey, it's
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that Brownhill signed for us.
Who's that?
I'm sure the boy if Burnley.
Right.
He's about 28 or 29, but that story started last summer or something like that, and it pops up all the time, and I get daffy messages about the guy all the time. I don't know if there is something in that. I think there might be something in that movie, that Brownhill. Josh Brownhill.
Where's he?
Burnley.
Burnley.
I think he's our captain. I think he's our captain, Terry. I know. Aye, there. Bobby's saying that. Aye, he's our captain. But that story, I'm getting wee daft rumours about that for last summer.
Yeah, as I say, with Joe, you can forget 9 months.
That's crucial, really, isn't it?
He's crucial. You know, I've done my crucial ligament as well. It's if he's done his crucial ligament, it's just that it's a bit. The whole thing's a bit of a lottery. Eh? It's but whether he's back in 6-9 months, so you'd be better writing him off.
Aye.
Doesn't matter. Forget him. You ever get him back again, and when you get him back again, it's just a bonus. You need to treat the close season as if he's not there. Forget him. Delete him for your memory. If he reappears, and when he reappears. So you're needing a winger, and then I'll leave you with a thought. We've not replaced Kyogo. We've got Maid in 2 positions, either through the middle. There's people get question marks, particularly potentially. I think he's done okay. Eh? He's Ida.
Oh, aye. Again, John. It's just, and see, John. See, honestly, see Engels and Ida. No matter what they do now, or how many goals Ida scores for Celtic, see the people that are moaning about him now. They're always got to moan about him. You're never got to change their mind about him now. Right, it's not the guy's fault that we paid £9 million for him. But see, by this time next year, Big Ida will be chasing 50 goals for Celtic.
Right, give me 5, Mark.
Right, no bother, John. But Big Ida will be chasing 50 goals for Celtic in his career by this time next year, and you can't fault that. For the game time and that, I think he's had this season. I'd think the return. Aye, the price, it's not coming out of my pocket. Right? We moan it's the board. We moan that the board don't back Brendan Rodgers, but then when they actually do back him, we moan about the money they've paid and he's no good enough, this and that. But Big Ida again, he'll do a cracking job for as long as he's here. For me, he's the best kind of natural striker at the club. And I said that even when Kyogo was here, because I keep going back to it. I just never thought Kyogo had that instinct to, like we saw with like your Gary Hoopers, Lee Griffiths kind of thing. To be a striker, you need that kind of deadly instinct right in front of goal. You don't think about anything, you just do it. And for me, Big Eda's the one at the club that's got that, and it will only get better from you under Rodgers. And whether he goes or whether he stays at Celtic all his career, for £9 million, he'll score enough goals to make that a decent value for me. There's no qualms about it. But there are other folk out there. Is that what it is, Patrick? 28 goals since last February. I mean, we can't really argue with that. Scott McDonald was another one. Well, I know, G-Doc, I know, but he's going to learn. Do you know what I mean? You've just people know, he doesn't hold the ball up well. Not Kyogo. Nobody ever mentioned that Kyogo never held the ball up well. The guy's paid to put the ball in the net. For me, that's what you want your striker to do. You want your striker to put the ball in the net. We don't need them to have all the wee fancy glancy touches and all this part of just get the ball in the net, and that's you earned your wages for that week. I mean, But there are people out there and they're just never going to give them the chance now. They've made up their mind about them. Just people do that with players. But at the end of the day, really, we're sitting there with all this money in the bank. And what difference would it make whether we paid £6 million or £9 million? Well, there, how much money, Patrick, would that be like in the Champions League? If you're winning points and stuff like that, scoring goals in the Champions League, people need to just forget about that. I mean, that was another thing, Patrick. He didn't even have a decent pre-season because the transfer dragged on and on. So give him a pre-season under Rodgers and he'll come out the traps next season flying. But I do think he'll still be second choice next season. I think we'll bring in a striker during the summer. And I'm saying he'll start as second choice. It'll be up to them to win Rodgers his confidence during that summer because that you.
Aye. So what was your thoughts on what's your thoughts on a striker?
Well, that's what I was just saying. I'm quite impressed with Big Ida, John, his numbers and stuff like that. And I said by this time next season we'll be talking we've scored 50 goals for Celtic, I reckon, if he came here. Some of the boys have put stats up and that. So the price isn't his fault. I think we'll bring in a striker and it'll be between the two of them to fight out to who's starting for Rodgers next season.
So you're bringing in something better than either then. That's got to be the target and then we'll see what happens with Johnny Kenny after that.
I'd be happy enough with that.
Yep. I've seen some shouts out for Majowski.
What's he done for the left?
Don't know, haven't a clue. Just seen it.
It's just a for me. That's just a kind of it's because it's a name we know. We'll throw that into the mix. I think we'll get back in for that. Garden or just Varden or whatever it is you pronounce it. So I've got Paul on for that one. But I think we've been after him that long. It seems to be like, what would you call it? Like a legacy signing, John. I think it's went for like the Mark Lowell days, but it's been passed on and Rodgers liked what he saw and thought if I can get him, I'd be happy with that.
Yep, I don't know much about the guy right enough, but he's certainly been on the radar for a long time. You're kind of north of 10 million to get him. Is that kind of right? Is that be kind of the figure you'd be talking about?
Well, that's what they're talking about.
I think I don't know who it is, but for me, if I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, well, we're needing something potentially, and I'm not criticising either. I'm quite happy with it. I think to talk about what you paid for him, you paid for him because we fannied about, and you were left with your backs to the wall. Everybody knew you'd no striker and with anybody else in. You'd been here before. You'd go him here on a loan without an option to buy. That's not his fault. Arguably, if he's not here last season, you don't win the league, you don't win the cup, and you don't qualify for the Champions League. So see the 9 million. And it's a fucking red herring. That's just
John. That's basically what I was talking about when you were away there. Just forget about that. Same as Engels, it's nothing.
And I think you're right what you said about Engels as well. When you sell Engels, you'll sell him for double what you're going for plus a bit. He's I wouldn't worry about Engels. As I said, my biggest question is maybe my lack of understanding, but I don't quite understand what's been asked of Engels. But buying a striker, something better than Ida, and that's no criticism of Ida. And you would keep Kenny there as a backup, as a third choice striker, because I really don't think there's anything coming through. I don't think there's anything coming through the B team that I'm aware of.
No, it's just again, John, that's just that bigger jump that
absolutely
really not going to see much. I don't think coming through that.
So I say that only name I'm hearing is that Jude Bonner, and I've not seen the boy to know. But anyway, I'm looking forward to going to the games we've got left. Then, obviously at Hibs on Saturday, so I'll be getting into that. Looking forward to that. Feels like a wee while since I was at Celtic Park. It's, so we've got that. Then we've got Aberdeen in the midweek. As I say, I'd put as near a reserve team out as I could there, not to show my hand up there. It doesn't matter. Play near your first team against Hibs, win the game, gives away, given the disappointment on Sunday. And then you've got Celtic against St Martin. It's title day, eh? And then you've got the big one. Is, the big one's the cup final, eh?
Did you get a ticket for the cup final?
I didn't even try. I don't. It's just a nightmare getting to Hampden, eh?
It's brutal, isn't it?
It's a park I've never liked either. You know, I was there. I was there when we were decanted there when Celtic was decanted to rebuild the stadium, and it's just you're 100 miles away from the goal. It's just I just never liked the place, eh? It's in fact I don't know. I can't remember the last time I was in Hampden. First time I was in Hampden was to see Scotland, and it was still black ash. It was black ash in the terraces, eh? So that was yesterday.
It's not a good stadium at all, John.
It's too shallow. The fact I had my when I gave Leeds out when we gave Leeds out my ticket and my laddie's ticket, I was back in the North Stand. I got a ticket for the North Stand. Don't get me wrong, fantastic view, but I had a ticket up there, just kind of right hand side of the centre line across for the main stand. Man, oh man, it's steep. You don't realise how steep it is you're sitting in there, eh? My heart was busting out my jersey by the time I got up to it, eh? And but what have you? You definitely get a better. I think you get a better view of the park in terms of how the two teams are set up than where. But I think I still prefer where I am behind the. I'm just right in line with the 6-yard box at the Bristol Rangers end, eh?
See in the standing section, the view's shite.
I tell you something. You know,
I'll admit that the view in the Stone section is not the best, but I mean my season ticket, John, was there in the Old Stone, just across for the director's box, about halfway up. It was a belt this year. To this day, I still regret giving it up, but I've never saw anywhere else as good as that in Celtic Park.
My laddie was he's always been at me to get a ticket. He was out at me to get a ticket. One of the kind of corporate characters that he knows. We did a line of the ticket for them one day, and it was right just about line the centre line in the old stand, in the main stand in the old stand, just near the director's box there, and it's the view fantastic. One, the old stand's seriously run down there. Seriously needing done. I'll be extremely. For your main stand, it's going to need investment, man. It's 1971. Who owns that?
What would you do, John? What would you do with that? What would you do even not just the Old Stone, but about the guys in the chat? What would you do about like refurbishing Celtic Park? I mean, when was it with Martin O'Neill? We went and get the loan off the bank for the 20-odd year loan that we just no long paid off. Surely we can go and get investment or sponsors or something like that would put money into that so that it's not going to cost us the millions and millions.
You talk about well, two things. I think that mean that. Geez, oh man, I've talked about me being decanted to Hampden. Even the North stands 30-year-old now.
I know.
The North stands 30-year-old. It's and even it started to show signs of wear and tear. But we were in for the hospitality for my laddie's 30th. Was that? I don't know if that was this year. It was last year. And we did the tour and we had the meal. And I tell you, if you've not done it, £30 a head. And the food was absolutely fantastic. I'm hard to please, eh? And the boys that done the tour were tremendous. But the place is certainly tired, eh?
Definitely.
And they done apparently it looks as if they could have done the turtle up, but. So the two big questions for me is you've obviously got the Celtic way done. You need, and we could all argue for about what do you do? Do you put more? Do you increase? For me, it's time. You've got two things. You've got the main stand, and you've got the entrances to the park. I come in for the I came in for the Springfield Road end, which is by the old for the old Iron Brew factory.
Aye.
So I'm coming for Carlton.
Just into the Green Brigade entrance, that wee road. Aye.
So I came in there. I've been dodging the same puddle for
I know what puddle you're talking about, John. I've stood in it a million times, man. Just look at my crutches in that.
I feel it right into them and say to the board, listen, I'm an engineer, I can do you a drawing, I don't even want fucking paid, just put a gully in there. At that pissole, that gully.
Jack will come up and mix it off for you, mind.
They just don't give a fuck. They're looking in that way, eh? So that whole space coming up there, there's opportunity just to do so much coming up for that end of the ground. The last time, because I was in that north stand, because I'd get Leeds Celtic ticket, and I came out that stand and I went to go right, which is you're next to the cemetery, and I couldn't go. You can't go. They put a gate across here. You can't get in there again. So I had to go left and up Chainfield Street and then back down the Gallagate past. So it was a long road for a shortcut, eh? And even that's tired. So big opportunities outside the stadium, but the one that's going to divide opinion for me is which kept you ahead. What's kept you? One of the things that's kept you ahead was and drove them to cheating was you had the extra 5,000 season ticket holders. You've got a chance to go and do it again. I think if you replace that stand, it only increases your capacity with something like, I don't know, 7,000-10,000, something like that.
See the way I would go, John, with that old stone. I'd even about the capacity of that wouldn't bother me. I'd just make it pure height of luxury.
It needs. There's nothing you can do.
I would, because see, years ago, John, there was only certain people could afford the corporate stuff and that. See now, I know that there's a bit of crisis with certain people, but a lot of younger people and that, and guys, they've worked their way up and they've got that disposable income now.
What would Fergus McCann do? I'll tell you what Fergus McCann would do. Fergus McCann, there's nothing you can do. There's a problem with, see, I don't know if ever you know, see, you'll see there's a big girder, there's a truss girder.
Aye.
Runs across the full length of the main stand, right? So, and you'll see run about a third of the way along the two, and there's a leg gets turned up. There's a leg gets turned up and it gets fixed to the main stand.
Aye.
The main tie, the truss, which is the bottom member of the truss, it's in tension. So I can't remember why. I had heard two things. It's that long ago. It's either snow loading or it's wind loading up the way. But that there's nothing you can do with that stand. That stand, if you're going to renew that side of the ground, that needs just
raised. Aye.
Just need to rip it out and start again. So, see, many times I always remember 2001 getting that. So when was that stand built?
1990. Well, the south stand, the old stand.
Oh no, the new north.
The north stand, 1994-95, wasn't it?
94-95, was it?
Aye.
I remember McCann. I remember getting a letter in saying that he was going to knock down that old stadium and rebuild as a 60,000 all-seater stadium, and there would be 10,000 on the waiting list. Now, I think that
nonsense, John. It was. See, to be honest, John, reading it, when you think back to where we were at the time, it was up there with the minty moonbeams with the floating pitches and winter.
I had been at Celtic Park one of the Wednesday nights before that. I played St Mirren. I think there was 11,000 there. It was a Jack the Ripper night, one of the foggy nights. Back the team sacked the board time, eh? And I made you get in his letter and think, you've been in fucking Canada too long. Eh? You're going to build us a 60,000 seater stadium, and there's going to be 10,000 on the waiting list, and that's why he's a multi-millionaire and I'm not. Aye. The vision that he had. What would Fergus go? I would love to see somebody asking Fergus McCann that question. You've got £100 million in the bank. Go and do what you need to do, but whether that's a bank loan use a bit of the capital you have got, do whatever you need to do, just go and rip it out, do it again, get yourself, and that'll keep you 10,000 seats ahead of them. They'll never catch you.
I mean, I would, what you're saying, John, I would drip it down, even, but you see about all the structural stuff and that, Patrick's talking about in the live chat. I mean, we see it all ourselves. I mean, it's rough. It's rough. But it struggles for the UEFA kind of stuff and all that. Do you know what I mean?
It's bad, Mark. Yeah.
So I would just see that. I'd just totally rip it down, get a planned revamp, but make it like ultra snobby. Just ultra snobby. Attracts just tourists to see that South Stand. It would be mega money for a season ticket, or it would just be getting sold to tourist fans to rip them off as a tourist. Do you get rip them off? You know what I mean? But stuff like that.
That to me would come long before I started talking about a hotel.
Aye.
But you know, the main stand, the approaches for Janesfield Street, the approaches for Springfield Road and sort that fucking gully. That would be my priority. In fact, no, I'd sort the gully first before I did anything. I'm up for sorting that gully. You know the one I mean?
Aye. I've soaked a few times. But I'm saying, right, apart from the South Stand, and then I do think that I don't know if the Celtic end thing could ever happen, right? I would love that to happen, to be honest, because I think that's one of the things that will help us keep the younger fans more interested if we could extend like a big, massive, do you know what I mean? A
standing section.
Massive standing section. But even at the very least then, see like at the kind of opposite end of the North Stand for where the Game Brigade is, let the boys in there, put another version of the North Curve in that corner. It would help balance the atmosphere and kind of stuff like that.
Pete McLaughlin's talking about queuing up for the Bicycle as well. I don't know whether to get up to that North Stand was fine, but see trying to get into our section, which I'm to the left of the Green Brigade, it's brutal trying to get in and out of there. We stand there. Man, it's just, I was walking up there. I was going up there as a laddie 50 years ago and getting easier with a ticket. Then I'm getting in there now. It's
you must be in a watch list somewhere, John. Me.
No, you know, they done it even a couple of years ago. They tried the kind of airport thing, you know, with the kind of corral thing with the bar. Even that made it a bit better. Anything. Somebody stop somebody, jump in the queue, and you can get in. It's dire trying to get in.
Well, I don't know whether it's because I'm on crutches or that, but the only couple of runs I've been to for the last few years is Hampden and Celtic Park, and everybody in front of me gets searched. Everybody behind me gets searched, and the boys just, on you go, mate.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm sneaking yet. I'm sticking myself in for taking in any pyrotechnics or anything like that, but I've not. But see, other ones, John, I've seen them. I'm saying that. I did see it one day. I walked up with a bottle of Lucozade and it was open, and the boy made me put it in the bin. But I think that was just an age thing. I just because that never happened before when I went to the Fitbird. You know what I mean? If you walked up with a bottle of Lucozade, they didn't bother their backside about it. But I suppose now it's anything you can throw in that. But but again, it's back to why is it like that at the Fitbird, and yet guys that go to the rugby. I mean, we've been here for Terence, you know what I mean? Going to rugby, we're dudes that Southern Ireland and stuff, but going to the rugby, the GAA and stuff like that, and even down in England.
Apparently, I think so. But what was the crack? They assemble it. So if you're a Celtic supporter going to that game, and
to be there at 9:30 or something, to get in the ground at 10:30,
you get marched up to the stadium to be in there for 10:30. I was a few years ago. I was at again, hospitality, Scotland against Ireland, Murrayfield.
Half and half scarf?
No, I didn't. I was lost on me. I was confused. Scotland got a penny. I was with Ireland fans because it was an Irish company. Ireland got a penny, apparently. And all the Irish fans are telling us to shh. I thought, man, this is not going to catch on at Parkhead, They were singing the Fields Yath and Rye. I think I'm confused here. See what end I was meant to be. And lassie standing there with the ice bucket bucket with your bottle of beer when you're coming back to the toilet. You want a bottle of beer or with a meal at half time. The ex-captains of the Scotland team and the Ireland team come in and spoke to us at half time. You just think you could treat it like a human being, eh? You go to a football match and you surrender your basic human rights. It's just it's criminal. Mind they were going to stop you a couple of years ago. Going to stop. One with the wee pub we go to, there's a Fife bus comes in, John Thompson bus comes in from Fife, and the pub puts on sandwiches and that for them. And they were going to stop any buses stopping within a mile or 2 mile of the stadium. You're thinking, where do these guys get off? These rules, you know. You're just treated like it's any other form of entertainment. It's if you're being treated like that, you wouldn't go back again, you know. It's
they're the black smoke up, John.
What's that?
That's a black smoke up out the chimney. There's no Pope after the first round of voting.
Right. Interesting.
Well, do you think that's all last, John? You're more knowledgeable than me, obviously, with that.
No idea. I was listening to there's a guy just happened to come on my radar yesterday. Taglas, he's Filipino, and there's the African guy as well.
Sarah.
Very, very well thought in that as well, you know. You know, that's they started that was before the game even starts. So there we've got no Popo from, you know. It's they're classless, eh? They're just classless. You know, I was actually watching. It all happens at the same time. You get a bucket bottle shown on the park. I thought, you know, your supporters will get no discipline. And Kearney, he's batting his elbow after
the dugout and that.
He's learned that after scooting the fans at Celtic Park the last time. The fans have got. I know, John. Players are getting no discipline, eh?
I know that we've got fucking idiots in my Celtic support, right? And I was one of them when I was younger. Do you get what I mean? I've never flung a fucking bottle at a opposition player that, but even back then when I was younger and there was a prick in that, if I saw a Celtic fan doing that, you'd be like, what are you doing? But I wouldn't be the only one. For me, the Celtic fans have always kind of self-policed themselves.
I mean, we had
there's dodgy songs, dodgy chants, but if any stupid happened, it was usually other Celtic supporters that said, "Oh, what's going on here? What are you doing?"
The only place I've seen it coming from is right beside us in the corner, at that corner where we had the vape thrown on. You get plastic cups. Fucking behave, eh? It doesn't leave you much room to say it. Saying that, you know, but at that particular stadium, you've had your physio split like a kipper and stitched. Rogers was apparently hit by a misfell the last time. The Hart picked up glass off the penalty box. You've got a bucket bottle, but the boys near corner need to calm their jets as well. Or it doesn't leave you much room to say anything. It's but that stadium needs addressed. Undoubtedly, the problems there are disproportionate. At one point, I think, since Salah actually goes and stands outside the box, shows he's no on the line for any. But listen, it is what it is. Their orange taps, their songbook, their banner.
Aye, we know what they're, John. Do you know what I mean? But
it's a boring conversation. If you're this side of 50 and that's a fucking shock to you, and Sunday, you know, where have you been? Do you know what I mean? See, I don't even find it offence. It just is what it is.
Well, it's just what you expect.
Absolutely.
As you said, John, it's what you've known all your life. Do you know what I mean?
That's right.
You were a thinking bastard before they knew who Neil Lennon was.
Absolutely, I said that to the other day, right?
But is it coming to a crux or whatever you pronounce it, that the way this board's going on, is it like kind of try to clean up their image for the American folk coming in? Or
they had their chance to do that. They've missed the boat with it.
Aye, that should have happened in 2012.
Absolutely, their chance to distance themselves from all that was was in 2012 when they were resurrected, but they chose not to. In fact, they done worse. They bought into it and they threw petrol in the fire. With the Orange Taps, the Armed Forces Day, all of they've just fed it. So they're just about to reaping the rewards of that. And as I said, it would have been. I'd love to know, but I'm just guessing. I don't know any more than any of you guys know. But just when I seen how quick the Rangers board condemned that at the weekend, I thought, oh wait a minute, I wonder if the Sinn Féin 1690ers have said to you what
but I mean, even on their forums and stuff like that, they're like, this. He's not getting called Paddy. Is it Paddy Stewart? Isn't it? Aye.
It was a matter of time before Patrick's name became a problem.
Aye. And all this kind of stuff and all that. So he's went from being like, big massive ex-CEO of Man United, which was all a stopgap at the time. What do you expect for a guy called Paddy and all that?
There you go.
I mean, James Forrest has wrote a couple of good articles about it the last couple of days and that. And it's like, is the soul of their club up for grabs here? Because they can't, John, they're no. See if they stick by our culture, where the Protestant British, right? They're never going to progress and get anywhere because they're never going to. Especially in, I don't like to use this term, John, but like in this like woke world. Do you get what I mean? Imagine you're like a young kid today, blah 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 blah. Whatever teams you support and that, and you've got choices, and then all of a sudden you've got this kind of that's against everything you're seeing on the news. Whether it's bullshit or no, you're still getting it pushed in your throat about how inclusive we need to be. And we've spoken about this after. I'm not getting into that on here, John. Do you know what I mean? There's certain things we agree with, certain things we don't agree with, blah blah blah. But they're just against everything. I even seen a thread on Twitter the other day. Did you see the boy try to put up the Israel flag on the netting the other day? And the post were taking it off and putting it down. And there was Rangers fans arguing with each other, about how they should support Israel because we support Palestine. And other Rangers fans are saying, you do know that Israel done this to the British Army fucking back in 49, the hotel thing they blew up. You do know that Israel was funding and giving Argentina weapons when we were fighting Argentina back in 82 and all that. And they were saying, just because Celtic fans like fucking Palestine doesn't mean we need to like Israel. And that's the kind of thing, John, that needs to become more normal for them. That kind of openness.
They're just because strange the other day there how quickly the board condemned that. Eh? But that's
just sports washing kind of the version of that.
I'm not any dafter in our board than I'm in their board. They can't call much out either. They've not called themselves out. They don't call the singing out. I've said to you before as well. The Celtic board just Ricky me. He wanted to be the establishment club, and you've heard me saying that, and that's never going to be the case. It's so I think the board, the missiles the last time it was Rodgers that called it out. The referees after Tynecastle debacle, it was Rodgers that called it out.
But John, just honestly, see the way John, just because Celtic aren't fucking making statement of cloak stuff, honestly, Celtic don't put up with that. Yep. John, I think that Peter Law's no. Did you see the story the other week about who was it? He phoned up Hugh Keevins at 2:30 in the morning and pulled him up about some story about how he still get power at Celtic and all that. Just like Peter Lowell sitting there and letting that kind of narrative slide. There's no way that Celtic aren't behind the scenes flexing our muscle, our dodgy decisions and stuff, and all this kind of nonsense. I mean, we knocked back the tickets. We fucking wanted nets up. We made all the security stuff and all that. Celtic's not as quiet, John, that people think they are. I don't think.
Anyway, champions again. Simply the best. I can't believe they were stupid enough to play that. I can't believe they were stupid enough to play that.
That's just silliness and all, isn't it?
That was better than the Guard of Honour, eh? So you think Barry, think your wee Hamilton boy will get the job?
No chance.
Too much to offer. I saw your man in the stadium as well, the boy that was up at Aberdeen briefly last season, mind?
Warnock.
Aye, I seen him.
Colin Wanker.
Aye.
That's an anagram, his name. Neil Warnock,
Right.
Colin Wanker.
So,
No, they shouldn't go for him, man, surely. But I mean, John, let's face it, they're talking about Mourinho and stuff like that, right? John's think guys that are going to put money in Leeds and be putting money into Rangers, if they could hire Mourinho, they'd not put him at Leeds in the fucking Premier League. They've got to send him up to Glasgow.
What's your thoughts on and Brendan? Will Brendan stay beyond these 3 years?
Aye, I think so.
I think so.
Aye.
I think what you said earlier on was a fair point. I don't think you could go and get yourself a better manager, as much as I'm no daft on the guy. I think he's a better man than the man that left. And I don't see how you would improve upon him.
I've said it, John, umpteen times on podcasts and that. See over the years, right? And even, I mean, I'm going to mention one guy that I wasn't even keen on myself, Neil Lennon. But at certain times over the years and that, we've been lucky that guys like Martin O'Neill, Brendan Rodgers, Neil Lennon had an affection for the club. Right. I mean, maybe take Neil Lennon, maybe take him out, maybe wasn't up at the level of the other two, but if they're in the affection for Celtic, they will not come to Celtic.
Mm-hmm. There's people that would say, am I shocked that John McGlynn getting the
manager of the year?
I think the manager that wins the manager in the top flight that wins
the league. That should be done. Unless it's like Callum Davidson won the 2 cups one year. That's for me. I don't know if he did win it, but that would, for me, either you win the league or they like what Callum Davidson won the 2 cups. That's the only thing.
The manager in the top flight that wins the 2 trophies that's available now, with a third one within touching distance, plus he beats the team with the highest wage bill to the league title, and his performances in Europe none less than Bayern Munich. I don't see how you could see past Brendan Rodgers for the manager of the year, and I think no.
Well, can you imagine doing the Pub League, Pep winning the treble or even the quadruple or whatever? Do you know what I mean? And then them giving it to the guy that get promoted for the championship.
Mm-hmm. No, I think it's poor.
It just wouldn't happen. Do you know what? It just wouldn't happen.
Yeah. No, it's poor. It's but it's poor. But it's been a tedious season anyway, hasn't it? According to the Scottish press, I don't remember it being fucking tedious when they were winning everything. Maybe my memory's not as good as it used to be, but I don't remember anybody complaining about.
And they were building a team to dominate Scotland and a team to dominate Europe.
That's right. Don't remember it being tedious, but it seems to be. It seems to be tedious.
But John, it's starting to sink into them that even this takeover isn't what they think it's going to be.
I saw the day. It's only 51% they're taking. That doesn't give them. Team doesn't give them the control and light that they think they get at that, which is 75%. I ain't no expert on it, but 51%. But the Daily Record the day saying
that link I put on the WhatsApp group. That's the first time. That's the first time anybody in the mainstream media, John's put in.
There will be no injection because
Celtic
fans will be fair play. Fair play. What do you think? For fuck's sake, is that breaking news to you?
Even Big Jerry was in the panic. Mind when it was all breaking, Big Jerry was in the panic station, and I put it up and said all that about the fair play regulations and just the money they've been bleeding. It just isn't. It's just not going to be allowed.
No, I'm not overly worried, but I'm more concerned about what you do in the close season.
See Celtic concentrate on being Celtic,
Absolutely.
doing what we can do and being the best that we can be.
Us,
they're striving to be us. Every day it's trying to be us. All right, we need to make money. We need to bring in young players, develop them and sell them for £30 million because that's what Celtic do. We need to do this. We need to do that because that's what Celtic do. Right, Celtic go out and fucking be the best that we can. The money we've got, back Brendan Rodgers and just let it go, because the natural order is, John, that's us top of the pile. And the only people that can mess that up is Celtic themselves.
Right, I'm going to leave you this thought. I'm going to need to bolt because I'm up at after o'clock in the morning, right? But I heard this wee start today. And quote me if I'm wrong, I wish, but Buzzy's no on today. But apparently, on this day, have you heard that today?
No.
On this day, Celtic beats. I'm actually surprised at this because my old man would say Wisher to you. Celtic beat Motherwell to win the league on this day. And that was us qualified. That's 66. That qualified us for the 67 campaign that we're then going to win the European Cup. Aye. But that was the first league title that Celtic had won for 12 years. That's an astonishing fact.
Oh, I knew it was a while, John. I knew that. I didn't realise it was as long as that. But back then, like you like said, Dunfermline.
So that's the first. That's the first. That's the first 9 in a row. Another interesting one was during the week. Was it yesterday? Is this the 7th today? Tomorrow is it the 6th? That was our second European Cup final. I always remember Danny Kay being interviewed and asked, talk us through your goal in the European Cup final, and he said, what one? Aye. And so we lost to Feyenoord. I reckon a lot of people seem to think it was the one mistake. Steen made, underestimated him. Wim Janssen.
That's what they're saying to me. We did underestimate it and thought we just needed to turn up.
Wim Janssen played in that team. And that, apparently, that was their only ever European Cup win. So, effectively, that was their Lisbon,
That was their Lisbon.
That's right.
Where was that? Was that Nutley? That other?
Was it San Siro?
San Siro was played in, aye.
Don't quote me on that. But anyway, the team, I looked at the team the other day there, and I think the only differences for the Lions was Evan Williams was in goals. Davy Hay was at fullback and Jim Brogan played there. So that's only three. That was only three players that was different for the.
Can you mind the Davy Hay playing?
I remember. Davy hard bit of stuff. Davy.
That's what I was going to say. I can't mind him playing in that, but that's what I've heard and saw, saw in videos. That's the kind of that's what we're needing to know.
Man, I'd never been a Davy Hay. I'd take a Barry Robson or just
a wee Hartley, a wee Zico,
or a wee Paul Lambert, anything, something that can just put their foot in the ball, win a ball, put their foot in the ball in the middle of the park. Something just with that wee bit of dig. Yeah. It's just that to me is that's what I would like to see coming in. So it's a big windy for us. I
think so. I think so.
Let's enjoy the end of the season.
I'm always positive about it. That's how it gets me doing so much as it drags on and nothing happens. But surely no this year. Maybe this year's a year that we get in. But even first week in June, boom, there you go, £50 million spent.
I would.
It's out John's bank account. I've hacked his PayPal.
If there was when I'm sending my list to Santa, it would be a left back, a centre half, a centre defensive midfielder, a winger, and a striker, and Stevie Gerrard back as their manager.
I'll just get to be Barry.
No.
They've come out and said that Gerrard's not coming back. Did you not see the videos of him kicking about the other week?
No, I'd love to burst. I'd love him to come back just to burst that.
Aye. Or there was video. I don't know where it was or whatever. Man, he was pissed out his face and he's like, "Oh, I love Rangers or the teddy bears and all this daft pattern and that." But somebody for the board came out with a statement saying nobody previously involved will be coming back.
There you are.
Rules out Gerrard and.
Right. Anyway, it's time for me to go and batter my fash and a breadcrumb my fash.
Get snuggled up.
So it's my whiting, a wee bit of
Good
white
time,
cup
good
juice.
time with that. You're not going to eat. You're not going to eat that this time of night, are you?
Aye, I've got two fish. I've got two. Apparently the whiting are spawning, but the next 2 weeks, the haddock are getting fatter. See the detail you pick up off of James is just fantastic. Eh? He must be a right treat for his wife in a night out. You know. Right, anyway, guys, like it's great to be back on again.
Right, thanks for coming on, John.
Long overdue. I hope everybody enjoyed the crack. It's great to be on, just talk about the subject we love, and it was good to be on and good to hear all the comments, and we'll enjoy the rest of the season. Maybe we'll even manage to hear Simply the Best getting belted out at Celtic Park against
you start it. You start it. Get a Tina Turner wig. You can start it.
Right,
thanks very much for coming on, John. Good night, bud. God bless.
Cheers, guys.
Right, thanks everybody for listening in. Thanks very much for John for coming on. I hope you enjoyed that. I know as usual it went a wee bit weird there with some of the talk, but I hope you enjoyed just listening in. Again, I'm not going to say we'll be back any night. I'm just not sure, but I'll try and get on back as soon as we can. Again, thanks very much for joining us. Hail, good night. God bless.